Hello everyone, this is Brian Gucher, and this is the first sprint review for the Student Innovation Project class. Um, my project objective here, that is essentially to make a game focused on setting up a defense against stealth. There's plenty of games that have stealth as a key element of the game out there already, where you play a stealthy character, a thief or an assassin, and I wanted to basically switch it up and have you set up the defenses of the like area or the situation, kind of like setting up cameras and maybe security guard patrol routes, that kind of thing, led to where I am now. And the sprint objective for this week was to get enough done that I can do a very early prototype testing of the game. So that leads me to what I've done. The first thing is probably instead of the specifics, it's just gameplay aspects. This is the first thing I did so that I could come up with the defenses in the rooms more easily. Essentially, I needed to come up with the actual stealth aspects, and this is all written for me to read. It's not written for uh, like an actual like presentation on what this is. It's not the instructions. It's kind of my thoughts as I'm going and developing. So it's not very like incredible language, that kind of thing. But essentially, I ended up deciding on square tiles for the cover and the different attributes. Originally, was just going to be the three: speed, ingenuity, and special, and agility. And since then, I've actually developed it past where this is because I did this was my first day, and so I've brought it up to action points instead of speed, ingenuity, agility, and then a special ability that'll be based on what the character is, which for now doesn't matter. Um, for the prototype, I'm not going to be making different characters. Um, then the specifics is essentially the different defenses and the rooms that I'm going to use. And that's all I really need to test the game. I already have the dice that I need, and I have a board that I can set everything up on. So one of the key aspects of the game is it's going to be using a six-sided dice uh, that is exactly like Betrayal at House on the Hill, which is one of my favorite board games, and it uses two sides that have zero, two sides that have one, and two sides that have two. So it averages out at one, basically. If you roll it 100 times, your average value that you get from that dice is going to be one. Which means that if you roll, like say your ingenuity is three and you roll three dice because of that, your average value is going to be value of three. So you have the different defenses that you can set up, an intern patrolling, much like a security guard, a basic camera that, depending on where you put it in a corner or on a wall, rotates 90 or 180 degrees, and then turns at 45 or 90 degrees based on where you put it. That's how fast it moves. And then the spaces under the camera aren't an issue, and how you can overcome it. Like if you get seen, you can use agility to kind of duck into cover. If you get underneath it, you can disable it completely. I've got locked doors with the similar stuff, noise tripwires, which you would get three because they're more simple. Um, and then somebody gave me the idea for mines when I was asking for potential things to deal with. And so my thought for there, because it's not a very serious stealth situation so far, would be like clear Legos. Um, and then like a copier machine or something like that that you can use to just block a path um, with it just would be a cover object, which I wanted, and then I added in an agility check to hop over cover essentially. Um, and I left room for more in case I decide to do that. And the last thing that I did is I just drew a number of potential rooms that you can use up here. Um, and then these are not this is done on very small graph paper, and I can easily just transfer that to the mat that I have. Probably the actual board would be somewhere in between. It wouldn't be an entire inch per square, but a little bit smaller than that, just so you can actually fit all of these rooms together. In the final product, it would likely be actual like room pieces rather than this, where I'll probably just roll an eight-sided dice to see what you get randomly, and then you draw in what you get, which is not how it's going to be in the final product if I would get there. And then a basic neutral territory room, which is kind of like the entrance of whatever building it takes place in, a canceled final goal room, and then the actual final goal room, which I decided to make a little bit smaller than the first one I came up with. And that's everything that I've done, and it should be enough to run a basic game because I know enough in my head as to how the rules work, which is somewhat in here, but more than anything, I just know how to run it. Since I'll be involved in the testing at this point, it won't be an issue. And that's everything that I've got to do. So everything else is in the written analysis. So thank you.